Kia ora, good evening, and welcome to Neat and Not by the Sea Flosstube video, some number. It is Saturday the 29th of October 2022. My name's Victoria and welcome.
Kia ora, my name is Catherine. My pronouns are she, her, and you'll notice that we're a bit late.
Yes, we're a bit late. Very
9
numerous
days late.
things, but we'll get on to just life.
Live.
Yeah. So, gossip. What gossip have you got?
News.
What have you been up to?
Well, Kate, don't be eating your lunch. I had to go to a GP to check myself, to have myself checked out on the boob front.
Mm-hmm.
So that was on the Monday, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then on the Tuesday, I had root canal. So I was just like, what?
One more and you've got the trifecta.
I have root canal completion on Tuesday.
Oh, there we go. Excellent.
Oh, I just remembered I
Not
bought my
excellent.
2 books. So after that, I felt quite entitled to buy a couple of books in the bookshop.
Oh, excellent.
So I've been enjoying one of them. I've started.
Excellent.
Well, enjoying is not quite the right word, but yeah, just mentioning it so that you know if you need to go to the doctor to have something checked out,
Do it.
don't delay.
Yep.
And can I just say, I went private with my root canal. So worth it.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm never going to go on holiday at this rate. I've had root canal before, but you could barely feel it,
Really?
and I was in and out in under an hour.
Wow. I have not heard of that experience before. With
It was
root
amazing because I
canals.
talk to people at work, and a lot of them go to the dental school, and it is not pleasant.
No, lots of.
And it's a good thing in its own, on its own. Like it has value because people are training. But yeah, I chose not to do that, so I'm quite pleased about that. But you know, we delayed retirement by another couple of months. Anyway,
Yeah.
what else has happened?
Well, we've just had a 3-day weekend. What did you get up to for that? Did you go away?
No, I recovered. I had a 5-day weekend because
You've just had your root canal. Yeah.
No, just because I hadn't had any holiday for about 8 months, so I was really quite tired. Because I'm on secondment, it's really hard to kind of. I didn't want to kind of book holiday, like start a secondment and book holiday doesn't seem right. And then there's always something that was coming up, and there was a reason. And then suddenly it was 6 months on the secondment, and I hadn't had a break,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was getting quite exhausted at home. I don't know. Is anybody else in the perimenopause? I'm tired. I just don't have the energy I used to have. Like I need rest. It's very annoying. Like I find I have to kind of, like for example, I was cutting up fabric for one of my quilts, and I'll do an hour, and then I'll find another activity sitting down. I'm just tired. So anyway, I had 5 days off. We chose not to go away, and then I had 4 days off today.
Excuse
This
me.
weekend. It's really hard when you can't take. I wanted to take a week off, but I couldn't with work and commitments and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really sad. What about you? What have you done?
Well, no, before we move on from
sorry.
you, do you want to talk a little bit about where we're filming today?
Oh. We're filming for my little house. So we moved in probably 2 months ago at least.
I think so.
Yeah, so we live here now, and their house in Port Chalmers is for sale now. So it's looking pristine, and we will not move in again because we don't want to have to like clean and tidy up again. Yeah, it's working out really well. It really is just like living in an apartment. People are so surprised when you say you've built a house of 40 square meters, but it's just like living in an apartment. Big enough.
It's great.
Um,
Looks fabulous.
These shelves got fitted probably a month and a half ago. Really beautiful recycled Remu, and they've got the nail holes from their previous roll, doing whatever they had to do. I will do a tour of the little house, and I'm going to try and post vignettes of my little like bits of art and stuff because people have asked, and I do like to kind of keep track of that. But this is all kind of my craft. As Martin said, he doesn't really have shelf space in this house. But it's just so that I can have them on hand. And it's been really lovely because I can just grab a book and just look through. I don't have to go hunting.
Excellent.
Did I tell you what happened to my builder?
No.
This is dreadful. He had an accident.
Your new builder?
My new builder. So my builder has built the decks in front of the girls' sleep outs. And then he's also built the bridge between the deck from the house to the street, because it's on a tiny little bit of a slope. And we built this house to be future-proofed. So when we're older and maybe not as confident walking, or maybe we need to use a mobility aid, we'll be able to walk very comfortably here. So he's done those 2 jobs, which were not time dependent, and he's on to the foundations for the studio. But he's had an accident. He had to have an operation on his hand. So, you know, he's a builder, so they're using power tools and stuff. So
he'll be out for a wee while then.
Yeah, so he's going to come back to the tools on the 19th of November, supposedly. And I've told the studio people that what's happened, so they can hold the studio. But we're going on holiday, notwithstanding the root canal. We are going on holiday. Did I tell this on the floss tube? Of course I have.
Yes.
He was laughing at me. Yeah, we're going on holiday on the 3rd of December, so I really want it all done and dusted in the studio here before we go.
Good luck with that.
I know, but anyway, it's not the end of the world. But when that happens, we're going to move. Not all. I mean, I will keep some books here because I like to have my craft books, but most of my craft stuff will move to the studio. So it feels really nice. I had a big tidy up. I keep finding places to hide bits.
Excellent.
You know, you just discover, oh, this is a new place for this. This will be the home for this little thing. And so because I tidied up and I put the sewing machine away, I've got my little Day of the Dead little arrangement that I have every year for my parents. So that feels really nice. It feels like home when I do things like that. So yeah, you when you live in a little place, you have to keep it tidy.
Yeah.
Like I'm constantly putting things away and that sort of thing. But yeah, we're enjoying it. It's a mission. It's half an hour to get here, isn't it?
Well, I came from Mosgiel today, so it was a bit longer than that.
You were in Mosgiel.
Yeah,
I didn't realise. I thought so. It wasn't through Stitch Witches.
No, it's through Odes, which is the Otikoti Dunedin embroidery school.
Ah, okay. Victoria's been gallivanting, doing exciting things.
I have.
So tell us about.
So it's my fault that we're running a week and a half late because I had to get a big project out before I went away for the weekend last weekend. So I ended up working late that Thursday night so I could go to the Gatlins for 3 days, which was fabulous. The weather was amazing. Right. Lots of walks on the beach, a bit of swimming in the water. I am still the rock.
What?
My niece and nephew, who are 10 and 12 going on 13, always try and push me. So, you know, we very much the Kiwi family where we dunk our siblings and our various family members, but no one yet has managed to push me over.
Or just a sibling thing?
Probably a sibling thing, and it's gone on to my sister's kids. But so I am the rock because they still cannot push me over.
Brilliant.
But my nephew is he's shot up. He's only sort of that much shorter than me now. And he's, you know, teenage boying, filling out sort of. So I doubt that will be.
Eating everything in his path.
So I doubt it won't be long until he'll be able to push me over in the water. But it's good fun. And
With rest? Did you get some rest, or was it just...
Yes, so got some, well, not a lot of rest. I have been doing the prep work for my Dye Fisher class, which has started. So I was away in Maraki in Catlins on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday were the first 2 days of the class. Then I went to work Thursday, Friday, and then the class continued on today, continues on tomorrow, and then it continues on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then there's another 6 days classes early next year in March.
So you booked a holiday for this?
I've booked the holidays for this, yeah. So I got down on the Catlins, I got my prep finished, and I worked like a trooper getting it all done. And then I turned up in class and half the other people haven't finished it, or, you know, it was me following the instructions and getting everything said, done.
Yeah, well, that means that you can relax in the class and just do the new stuff, right?
Exactly. Which is great. So I've got that to show you.
Did you get praised?
I did. Not by the teacher, but by other students. So there must be 18, maybe 20 in the class.
Wow.
And the pieces have to be worked on, like the fabric has to be pulled on a frame, and we're using gilt thread, so it can't be folded or rolled. And it's huge. I've got it here to show you, you know, it's huge. You can't see my hands. So all these massive, great big frames in this church hall in out of Mosgiel, but it's great.
Nice. You can show us that when we do whips.
I will. And that's me. Work, work, sewing, sleep.
Oh, I went to a concert.
Oh, what concert?
And the phrase that was going through my head is I regret. why do I say yes to things? Like, I always regret saying yes to things. But Martin asked me about probably 2 months ago, oh, do you want to go to a concert with me? And I was like, oh, that sounds lovely, darling. We'll go on a proper date.
What sort of music?
It was kind of, it was like a David Bowie tribute thing. It was called Rebel.
Oh.
But it was with circus. So if you know me, not my jam. It was all about just being with Martin. And then we didn't rate it.
Oh, what a shame.
Martin was really impressed with the circus. Like, Martin's a sports person, so they were
So is
real
it-
gymnasts.
So it's like Cirque du Soleil, like not them, but that sort of...
That sort of vibe, but they also played musical instruments. So it's kind
Oh.
of, that was kind of cool. I was delighted because it only lasted 50 minutes.
Brilliant. Oh,
So I got all the brownie points for attending.
excellent.
Oh, we did go for an Indian meal beforehand, so that was great. Yes, Catherine, never say yes to things that make you leave the house. That's just silly. I'll stop you from shopping and you stop me from saying yes to things.
Well, I kind of like my shopping.
You were just saying earlier that it would be handy to have me around.
Yes, it would. It would. But yes, but the thing is, you've said yes to things before I tell you don't like things.
I know. I know. And you kind of feel like you should say yes to your husband sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was good to go out. I saw loads. It was so funny because I saw loads of people, of course.
Oh, it's excellent. It is good to go out.
And it was from the arts festival. We normally go to something on the arts festival, and we just went to that thing, and that was on the last day.
Excellent.
But if you don't go to these things, they won't be put on.
Exactly. Use it or lose it sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh well, shall we start?
I'm sure we'll come up with things as we're doing things. So
You go first because
I don't have any finished objects.
Oh
Do you have any finished objects?
No.
Okay.
no, I've only worked on 2 projects because I've been so busy doing this prep stuff.
This is here. I am lamenting. I have no free time. I'm so exhausted. I've worked on so many things. But I did have basically 4 days off work. So
Excellent.
you can crack on when you do that. So I'll show you the things that I've worked on that are cross-stitch related. I'm trying to have a method. So I've got like a FIFO. Like if you've worked in restaurants, it's FIFO. First in, first out. So I've got like all my projects go by my bed. So it's like messy.
Yeah.
And as I work on one, I put it in the basket.
Nice.
Is that basket?
Yeah, that's basket.
Yes. Beautiful, sort of
beautiful
Moses basket type things that you get in the auctions. Very beautiful. I'm always trying to find them. But I didn't find them in the auction. We bought that in Armador, remember?
Oh, you did too.
Okay, so the first thing I worked on, well, no, I'm kidding. I don't remember what's the first thing I worked on. But this is a project, as an enormous project, because you know that I like enormous projects. And this is Dutch Beauty, which I really enjoy. Of course, I am doing whatever I feel colour-wise. But I have completed the entire border now. So that's really good fun.
Oh, well done.
Yes, so I've got all the leaves. And you'll be so impressed with me, Victoria, because I finished all the leaves and then I just went round just checking that I had done all the leaves. And I spotted some, like a little run of mistakes.
Yeah.
But some mistakes are just not pleasing to me. When they're the same mistake over and over, it just seems too orderly. So I went back and I fixed those.
I am so pleased.
Yeah, but when it's just a
Well
one-off
done.
mistake, I'll leave it because that brings me great joy. So
Oh, it is a massive piece.
it is a massive piece and I love it.
Ah, gorgeous.
I kind of feel like it would be so much fun to do bedding. Only it wouldn't last, so why would you? But wouldn't it be fun? I've just finished listening to Wolf Hall by... Oh gosh, this is the worst. I need to remember her name because she only just passed away.
Oh, it
Hilary
was...
Mantel. So Wolf Hall, I just finished, and of course, they mention Catherine embroidering shirts for King Henry. So it all felt very lovely and appropriate. I was thinking, who would do that? Spend hours doing something. Anyway, so I'm next going to listen to Bring Up the Bodies, which is the second part.
Excellent.
Anyway, good fun. So now that I've completed this, I need to go and do the buds. So these are just the leaves, and then there are little buds there as well. So I need to make a decision about how random the colours are going to be. And you'll remember that this is a 40 count Swigert that I dyed with buddleia, the little round buddleia.
It's beautiful.
And I love the
this
smell.
colour.
It's a lovely yellow. See, this is the stuff that I'd mordanted with soy milk and then dyed. So I very much enjoy this.
Beautiful.
In my adopted as a project bag, little cushion, patchwork cushion. I need to go up shopping. I haven't been up shopping for ages because I live in a very small house now. So you have to be really careful about what you bring in. So yeah, so that's one. What about you?
So the sale. So I've only worked on things with deadlines essentially. So this is Northern Expressions Needlework, the Twisted Band Sampler. And I'm still behind. What have we got? So this is it in all its glory.
So how behind are you?
About a month. So I should have all these roses finished from last month, and I haven't.
But you can run on to the next line if you're behind, right?
Exactly. So this is this month's, the start of this month's line here. And, oh, it's not really doing it justice, but very pretty wee stitches. I'm really loving this more and more as it fills out.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So it's looking grand.
I think having a bit of pressure works for you, I think.
Oh, but I haven't worked on anything else, so it gets a bit boring for, showing, but...
Self-induced.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
How, is this until the end of the year?
Yeah, so the next class, which will be the third Tuesday in November, will be the last one of the year.
Oh, okay.
And the end of this stitch, that's it. That's it for that class. They'll do something different next year.
See how she's making plans already? Great. Very good. The next one I worked on is this Mexican sampler that is in a museum in Mexico, and Yanni Stitcher did the chart, and so I've chosen to do the chart the way it was done back in the day, because she does also provide like a modern version where the words are more clearly spelled out with proper gaps between. But I was not interested in that. I was interested in the original look of the thing. So I've only done a little bit on this. Sometimes I just don't have the brain capacity for complicated stuff. But I did make a little bit of progress, so I've done this bit. And I do like it when you have the little pictures.
I like the arrow going through the heart. That's really cute.
So it's supposed to say, so it's un corazón, which is a heart.
Oh.
Yeah. Or maybe it's un flechazo al corazón. So maybe it's an arrow through the heart, something like that. Anyway, it's a heart with an arrow through it. I really love it. This fabric is from number 12 Stitch Co. And the color is Rain Cloud, which is a beautiful grey, which actually Victoria and I both fell in love with when we first started.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Stitching. It's 36 count, and I'm using a blue that I absolutely love, and I hope to always have in my collection of threads because it's so beautiful. And so much so that I've kept the number. It's 312, DMC 312. It's such a beautiful blue. So anyway, onwards and upwards. I am kind of feeling like did I start new projects today? I'm about to start a new knitting project, and I was just thinking, Catherine, you have to finish some things, but I'm just itching to do something new. So focus, Catherine, focus.
You'll get there. So, the second and final project is the prep work, and of course what I've done the last 3 days of the Di Fisher class. As part of the class, she does fantastic notes. But I've got much better.
Is Di Fisher the woman teaching the class?
She's the woman teaching the class. Okay. She's also the designer of this piece.
It says Diane.
Oh yeah, Diane. Yeah.
So I thought maybe that was, because sometimes with samplers you call it by the name of the person embroidering it. No. So it's two different people.
It's so Diane Fisher is the person teaching the class. She has designed this piece, but it is based off motifs and stitches that are appear in 17th century works. So it is made up of 7 bands. She's got it in 2 pieces of paper. And so this is the top. This is what wasn't in my photo before. And it comes down. So we haven't done any of the first bands yet.
Do you think those are thistles?
I reckon they are.
They look cute.
Aren't they gorgeous? And this is bottom of the work, and this is what, so we've started this one. We were working on this one today. We're doing this one tomorrow, and
Wow.
this one here we must start Tuesday, Wednesday.
So she
next
just
week.
gets you started and you just...
Yes, it just shows you the stitches, you do a little bit and you move on. So, I will show you. This is the size of it, you can't even see it. I'll take the pillowcases off. Look, look, blank. So, this is the start of it.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to come and close it. So this,
Is it upside down then?
yeah, so you start on band 7. So it's the right way up, but you
okay.
start at the bottom and work your way to the top.
Okay, cool.
So this is what we did the first 2 days, and there's gilt thread in there, so it's quite a 3D effect. It's quite proud of the,
Oh, yes.
it's a mixture of silks and cottons. This is what we're working on today, the wee strawberries, which is not quite finished. Strawberry flower, the wee rose, I'm working on the basket there. And then this bit here is tomorrow's. So this prep work here was awful. Honestly, I've stitched it about 3 times. It was absolutely horrible.
Well, this is my favourite bit. I love this bit here.
Isn't that gorgeous? So
It's
that's
so
going to be the strawberries and the strawberry flowers.
Can I have a look at the front?
You can. So that the hard bit is done in a stitch called,
And was this supposed to be some sort of like box garden?
possibly, I'm not entirely certain, because this is tomorrow's piece. What is this? It's double back stitch variation, and it's fine when you're going straight or when you're going up and down, and even the angles are okay. It's the transition from here to here, which is awful, and when the little stems come off it, also not fun.
For a second I was going to be validated because you couldn't cope with the diagonals, but it's
No,
not
it
true.
was changing directions. It was, honestly, I've spent like 3 weekends doing that and getting that finished.
How much effing?
An awful lot of effing and at least half a skein of thread.
Can you imagine? Because this would have been, this to me looks 17th century, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, those ladies that they had to do this, and they might not have enjoyed it, with bad light,
Oh, yeah.
lots of effing.
I mean, I'm choosing to do it.
That's right.
They were forced.
Is this?
Yeah, so it's stretched on a frame, like I said before, because it's got gilt thread, which is gold thread, which you cannot wash and you cannot roll because it will come out of shape. And,
So no chocolate on this.
well, there is chocolate on it because there was chocolate on it when I was doing the prep, but I sponged most of it out.
Gives it a bit of history, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's
And
very
then
beautiful.
I thought that this, one part of this was going to cover it, but it turned out I just put the stitch in the wrong place and had to unpick it.
Oh well.
But this, so far, it's been great.
And are any of these stitches crossed?
No,
Oh, great.
there's not a cross stitch in it yet.
Nice. And you'll be able to reuse the frame, right?
Reuse the frame, yep. So the pins come out, I'll take the
blue cloth.
blue cloth off it. The blue cloth was just to give additional strength so I didn't end up pulling things. And I'll reuse the frame. And as you can see, well, I'll show you in the shopping, but this frame is very unwieldy to stitch on when you've just got it either on a table or on your bed or on a cushion. So I had to buy some stuff.
Do you want to show it now?
I will show
Whilst
you.
we've got this out, because then
I'm
because
gonna
we
put it
do
away.
have chocolate about, we should wrap this back up.
So I bought a Lowry frame from Stitch Witches. And what happens is the thing goes in the side here. Ow. Oh, and I bought some scissors to match.
Of course.
This goes in the side, it screws down, and then that just holds it in mid-air and you can stitch. And it's great because then if you let go of it, that should hold it. Then your hand's free, and it's fabulous. And this is how we've got 20 people in one room, sort of
I quite
working
like
with various stands.
I quite like the yellow.
Yeah. I'm very
Is that a
pleased.
good enough reason to buy things? 'Cause you like the
Absolutely.
yellow?
But this is great. I'm super pleased with it. But now I have to do lots of big projects to justify the purchase.
Well, I kind of think. I mean, not that you do have to justify the person. Not on video, because we've been talking about, you know, her purchases off camera. But I think a lot of these things hold their value anyway.
Yes,
So if you finish this project and you're like, I have had enough, I am never going to stitch
I'm pretty
this,"
sure I
you
could sell that
resell
and make my money back, or at least only sort of end up losing like $50.
Yeah. Yeah, I still don't.
Because I'm not sure if many stitches in New Zealand stock it. They come from England.
What's, the frame.
The Larry frame, yeah. Stand.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. How many passions do you have in your life, Victoria?
Exactly.
Your passion is hand
It's
stitching.
stitching, yeah.
So
And it's going to pay for itself just with doing this
plans
project.
to do more classes as well, no doubt.
Yeah, but doing this project in itself, I mean, this is going to be a big 18 months, 2 year stitch, I think.
Oh, good Lord. Great.
Because I will finish it. Excuse me. So that's what I've been busy with.
Is that it? 2 things. Okay, you can get comfy because I've got loads to go through.
Yeah, but I did that wee star thing like 4 times, so, you know, it should be 4 times as big.
You get all the credit.
Got all the credit, yeah. Lots of unpacking.
Okay. So, this I worked on this morning. And so, a fun fact about living in a photovoltaic house. So, we are not connected to the national grid. So, our electricity comes from the PV panels on the roof. And the hot water is connected to that. And we have a little tank. We only have a 60-litre tank because we figured that's all we need. I really wanted to have a shower this morning because my hair. I only do my hair once a week. And normally on a Sunday, but I was like, oh, I just want to do my hair because it was like a rat's nest. And it wasn't sunny. It hasn't been sunny for the last 3 days. And this morning it was quite sunny, but the battery was so depleted. It gave me an excuse to stitch in the morning. I had to wait until 11, then I switched on the hot water, and then I had to wait another half an hour for it to heat up. So it was great. And this is another one of my favorites. Is by Heartstring Samplery. His eye is on the sparrow. Let's do justice to this pattern. I love these monster size.
They're gorgeous.
I don't know, I got distracted. Darn it. I got distracted because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to this tree. And I went sideways. Never mind. Oh. Okay, well, never mind. So I stitched quite a bit on this. It's funny because you can stitch on something for an hour and a half, but you have very little to show for it.
Yes, yes.
So I've done... What did I do? I did these 2 little motifs, which are some sort of flower situation, and then these 2 little bird type things.
I love how they look like like there's a pukeko element to it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and also yeah, that's right. The pukeko is an indigenous bird in New Zealand.
It's got bright red beak and bright red feet and beautiful blue feathers.
But I also like oyster catchers, and they have very orange beaks and feet. One of the varieties. Anyway, I really liked it. Sort of intentional error, a bit too close to that flower. So you'll be shocked to find out that I don't count. I aim my needle and I throw it, and this is where it lands, and that's where I stitch. So anyway, I love this project. I was even toying with the idea.
So pretty, pull it over my way.
I was toying with the idea of, because the colours on the top are so bright, of going pastels in the bottom as a juxtaposition. I probably won't. But this morning it occurred to me that could be a fun thing. But anyway, making progress.
It's beautiful.
But I really would like to make significant progress on these projects that I've had since at least the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, she's a great designer. What's her name again?
Is it Beth Twist?
Yes. She's a great designer. So yeah, really enjoy that. I'm putting them over there. And then I also worked, I'm kind of getting back into the groove of this stitch along that I'm doing with Ella in Australia. So this is with What You Have, Sal. So the idea is that you use a pattern, either this pattern, which we both like, which is called And a Forest Grew, and you just use the fabric and the threads that you have lying around without going to the shop and spending money specifically on the things on the pattern, which, as you can imagine, is a huge stretch for me. Anyway, so I'm stitching this on Edinburgh linen, 36 count, and slowly I'm adding things. So what I did.
Filling up.
So what did I do this time?
You've done that. It's gorgeous.
I did. I think all I did this time is the fox. Oops. The fox, the trees, and these two trees and this little bird. I really wanted to do the fox. That was kind of my goal.
Gorgeous.
I think I'd done the tree last time. I think that was what I'd aimed for. And the nice thing is that now I've hit the bottom, so I can start just working my way across. I quite like the idea of having it framed and then it's kind of closing in on it.
Nice.
So, and I changed the, if you've watched the Flosstube before, you know that I've changed the saying. It was quite religious sounding, and I've changed it for a sustainable saying about using our resources and not depleting the planet, and it's by Pete Seeger, who is a country singer. I think is a country singer. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this. It's good fun. So I worked on this quite early on in the fortnight, in the 3 weeks. I didn't get to all my projects, but I did work on quite a few of them. And the last one I worked on was Consider the Lilies, another Beth Twist one, but this one is very bright, which I really enjoy. I think I'm probably a sucker for anything that comes with a background of quilts. Although I really enjoy her choice of bright colours, I'm not using the same colours. I'm just choosing whatever I fancy. And what I have done, and I think this is new for here, is I finished all the flowers. Oh no, I had shown you the flowers. I've just done the bit in the middle for the phrase.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and
do you know what you're going to write in there yet?
I don't know yet. It's not going to be anything religious. I can't actually see. It's something about considering the lilies, and I think it's religious. I'm not 100%. I'm going to probably do something in Spanish because you know me. So I'll see. It will come to me. I've used the standard sizing, so I'm not adjusting it. But I love that green. I thought, oh, let's have some of that green.
That green is stunning.
It is gorgeous, isn't it? If only one knew what number it was. I'm pretty sure I don't. Anyway, and I love the idea of being able to cut my fabric now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For no other reason, I can just put it in the bag of fabric that I have. So, excellent. I love this. And this is also part of a stitch along that I'm doing with Patchy Pony Stitcher, Mel, who's way ahead of me. And she lives in Tasmania and I live in New Zealand, and the sea that's between us is called the Tasman Sea. So it's called Across the Tasman Lilies.
Beautiful.
Yes. So yeah, good fun. So although we're working differently because she's doing page by page and I'm just with my ridiculous rule about
doing the frame, the one bizarre rule that you have.
Yeah,
it's like doing a jigsaw puzzle to the outside.
The completely inflexible rule that I have. So yeah.
Excellent.
That was good fun. And there is something very restful. Life doesn't feel very restful to me at the moment.
No, it's getting that sort of, and it's also that sort of gearing up to that mad time of year where everyone wants to catch up. And
no, I don't have any of that because I'm leaving the country for a month.
Yeah, too.
And I don't really do the mad thing. But yeah, just all sorts of things. You know, every family has things going on, so it kind of feels like the idea of doing 3,000 flowers that are exactly the same, just changing the colour, is just very calming. So I enjoy that.
Excellent.
Yeah. Shall we do? You said you had a couple of books to show.
I do have.
Let me just go and get my books as well, which I
Excellent.
forgot.
You go get your books.
Yeah, if we do that, and then I can do my other things after. Or, I don't know, mix it up a bit.
Mix it up.
Me talking.
Yep. Shall I start, or do you want to wait till you get back?
Wait for me. Talk about the weather.
The weather has been beautiful today, and it was raining and rubbish yesterday, and it's just started to rain today.
We went to the beach, and Christina and Martin got in the water. Martin actually swam.
Lovely.
Christina pretend swam, and I wet my feet.
Good job.
Because nobody can make me.
Is this any good? I have this on my list.
I haven't started it. You can borrow it, don't buy it.
But it's so pretty.
You just bought that frame. Just borrow it. Okay, you start first.
All right, so
Oh, I want to have a nosy at these things.
yeah, first one I bought was the Inspirations, the Design Collective, yep, Volume 1 Pincushions. And I bought it because I was looking at it in a copy that I had access to, and I thought, well, there's 5 ones in here that I want to do. So I figure that one less than the 12 that are offered, but I figured that was worth it. So, what have we got?
You wanted 5, and they offer 12.
So there's 12 patterns in this book, and I want to do 5 of them.
Okay.
So I thought that's a fairly good ratio to justify purchasing.
I have a bias towards books, so I kind of feel like they provide inspiration. You don't have to justify it by doing a. That's why I like books rather than patterns, because
yeah.
it's like the whole thing provides inspiration.
So this is the first one, and it is a pattern. Oh, the designers that are in here, I don't know who they are. If you want to know, just leave a comment.
So the book is called The Design Collective.
The Design Collective, and it's issued by Inspirations that do a lot of the books, embroidery and cross-stitching book things, sort of things.
Well, they also have a magazine, the
Yes,
Inspirations
yeah.
magazine, and so they obviously have their own imprint.
Yeah, so there's that one that I would like to do. This one, which surprised me, but I really love. I think it's a fig.
Celeste Fig.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought it was gorgeous. And here's some.
Is that beading?
Yeah, it's got some beads on it.
Oh, interesting.
It's got all sorts of. I think it's backwork. Backwork? I don't know. I don't know.
Are you saying black work?
I think that might be what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
These two, which I showed you previously, which first led me to this book, with the daisies and the forget-me-nots,
Oh, I
and the
remember
bee and the ladybird. So it was me looking for these patterns that led me to this book.
I love the cover. I love the gradient.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
And what else have we got? This one here, which is quite cute. We strawberry. And that is not all cross stitch. What are we doing here? Oh, this one here I quite like too.
Looks a bit Tudoresque, like crewel work.
Crewel work. I think it's
Yeah.
crewel work.
Yeah, it looks like crewel work.
Oh, that was quite pretty, and of course they've photographed them beautifully.
Of course, that's part of the trick.
So,
Victoria.
and one day I will do this sort of pulled thread / lacy
Drawn
shenanigans, drawn thread. And oh, this one is which really sold it for me.
She said that twice now.
Oh, did I?
Oh my goodness, I love that flower.
That's what I'm saying. Look at
That's
that.
like thread painting.
Yeah, I think that's
Beautiful.
and there's flowers go right round it. It's stunning. Beautiful. So definitely going to give that one a go.
Oh my goodness. Are these peonies?
Aren't they? No,
Chrysanthemum.
that's I think what they are.
I don't think chrysanthemum's that colour.
It's flower. Is what it is. It's flower.
She's such a gardener. I know, I'll
Sacred flower.
when we have dinner, I'll
look it
I'll
up.
have a look.
It'll be in
I'll
here
have a proper
somewhere.
look.
It'll be in here somewhere. Now this one, which I think will be quite a challenge, but I'm quite into this sort of 3D stump work stuff. I thought that was really interesting.
Doesn't look like a working pincushion though.
No. But look how pretty it is.
Very lovely.
And oh, this stuff, this is beautiful. This is gold work. Isn't that gorgeous? And this is bead work, which is quite pretty. And what's this one? This one's very sweet and looks simple, although I'm sure it's not. I like just the 2 or 3 colours.
I know in comparison to the others, it feels like you could just do it in a weekend.
And this
Bargello.
one, Bargello, which is, it's reminds me of your etui that you've
I think
got.
there probably is a little bit of Argella in that.
Yeah, a similar colour scheme anyway, possibly same design.
My etui is in the naughty corner.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'm going to redo that. I don't like the gold. I'm going to redo it,
And
probably
that-
with turquoise.
Those are the 12 ones, so that was
me
a
have a
book
look.
that came home.
In case you want to catch what it's called. Very beautiful. And you don't have much of a library.
I
so
do
you're-
not have much of a
no.
library, so I am building up my
Yeah.
library.
Yeah. I have a very healthy library. It's nice to have.
Do you want to show one of yours?
Books that you can refer to. Yeah, so I bought two. Of course, Spot the Maker. I'd heard of both books. I'm currently reading Patchwork by Claire Wilcox. It's called A Life Amongst Clothes. I'm not thrilled, I have to say. I think the phrase self-indulgent crossed my mind at some point. So I've decided, I think what it is, Martin's outside trying to walk in.
He's not sure whether to bring the dog in or
Oh,
not.
that's okay. I think what it is, I did read the back of it before I bought it. I was feeling reckless. It's called Patchwork. So I'm like quilt adjacent, right? So I get excited about it. And this is someone that works or has worked as a curator at the V&A, the Victoria and Albert Museum. So I had very high hopes, but it's actually just a memoir with some very, very loose cloth adjacent tidbits. And I love a memoir. You know, apparently it's a very female genre.
Really?
Yeah, we used to talk about things. I used to work in a library, so, you know, we used to talk about that. And
Because I love
Women-
autobiographies, and that's surely similar to it.
no, men tend to read autobiographies, women tend to read memoirs.
What's the difference?
I think autobiographies tend to, well, they're written, autobiographies is like the same person writing, but they tend to be about a whole life. So, you know, I was born in this place and I did this thing and then I did this thing and then I graduated from school and then I went to do this thing. And it's kind of, they tend to be quite linear and very filled with facts. Memoir can be, it can be a snapshot of an hour in the life of someone, or it can be a
Okay.
whole lifetime. It can be whatever you want it to be. But it's subjective. It can be very subjective and sort of feelings led, I feel. But we used to talk, not that we've read any academic papers on it and stuff, but in the library it'd be like, women tend to borrow memoirs and men tend to borrow biographies. Biographies in general and autobiographies. And in this household, that is very true. Martin would not read a memoir. There's just no way. He'd be like, no. He'd think of it as kind of waffle.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I made a decision because the writing's good. You know how sometimes when you're reading a book, when the writing's bad, all you can see is the bad writing. But sometimes, without the writing being exquisite, sometimes the writing is exquisite in things. Sometimes the writing is just good, so you don't notice it. So you don't praise it because it's just good. So the writing is good. I've decided I have to let go of my expectations of what it was going to be like. And, you know, it's perfectly pleasant. But I normally would only read a memoir if it was a topic that I was really interested in or I knew the writer. So I would read Margaret Atwood's memoir if she wrote one. Not know them personally, but I know of them and they're oeuvre. Anyway, I posted it on Instagram and someone did ask and said, this is the second book that she's read and she couldn't get into the other one. So she wanted my opinion. So my opinion is not to run out and buy it, but maybe expectations as well. Because some of the... Maggie O'Farrell has said, fascinating, strange and enthralling. So anyway, we're all different. I don't regret buying it. I won't run out and buy another one of hers. Okay, you do your next book.
So I'm sure a lot of people may have picked this one up, but the Inspirations, A Passion for Needlework, Volume 4. And Catherine will know what me buying Volume 4 means.
Oh, Lord.
Means we have to go buy the others.
This is not the same... I'm just wondering whether my etui book...
That's Inspirations,
It's
as well.
Inspirations,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
So have I got a...
In my head, I want to say that Inspirations is very project-based. They don't...
It is very project-based,
Yeah.
so you get all the instructions on how to do these are in the back. So there is... Oh my god, this I really love. Is this one on the cover? No. I'm going to try my hand at crewel work.
Nice. I've got so many crewel wools that I've used a little bit, but not much.
Look how pretty that is.
That is lovely.
It's just lovely. Oh, and this book comes with a cloth bookmark. You know it's a sign of quality when they put a bookmark in it. I didn't just make that up. And
Beautiful photography.
to go on with my bug obsession.
Look at that photo.
I know, look. I'm sure they don't want me showing pictures. It's just
Beautiful,
gorgeous.
right?
Look at this cicada. Oh. Is there
Ooh, what's that? Is that a little bird?
There is a little bird,
Sorry,
which I'll show you next. Don't
I'm ignoring. Oh my lord, that is too cute.
I know, you know, that's on my list.
Good. Better than what you'd found online.
The turtle is in the earlier book of one of these.
Oh, no, I think this is better.
So that's the cicada here.
I think that penguin is better. Sorry.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
This is a goldwork penguin.
That
Isn't
is
he
too
gorgeous?
adorable.
And I'm going to show you his backside as well.
I vote you start with the penguin.
Yep. Isn't he stunning?
Is this a generic penguin or is it a specific type of penguin? I don't think penguins have a
I
heart
think
on
it's
their back.
penguin. No.
Yeah.
I think it's just penguin. Isn't he
Nice.
gorgeous?
Very cute.
So I think after Christmas I might look at getting the bits and pieces needed for that. This is another piece of crewel work, I think. Sorry if I'm getting these techniques and things wrong. That's all on me. I just look at the pictures and think that's really pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? And what else we got? Also this. I've never wanted to do a purse before, but how beautiful is that?
Shall we? Oh yeah. For all those evenings when you go out.
I know, because I'm such a wee social butterfly.
When you go to like your jazz evenings or something like
Yeah.
that.
And
That's
what's this
nice.
one? This seems just to be a...
Aliens. Nice. Thread painting?
I think so.
Yeah. Nice.
And then this big beast of a cushion cover, which is beautiful. Don't know what that is, but it's beautiful. It's all beautiful. Oh, and these again, this 3D stump work, which is something I really want to give a go.
I'm sure there'll be a class.
I'm sure there will be. Well, I reckon I could probably give it a go out of this book and get it wrong and never want to touch it again. How cool is that? And then there is some, I think it's ribbon and paint work. I think
I've
they
never
paint
been
their own.
interested in ribbon.
So part of the Odes class I've signed up for next year has got a bit of ribbon work in it, but I'm actually just doing it because I like the bee.
Oh, it's beautiful anemones.
And then there's 40 winks. So there's lots of projects in here which I thought were gorgeous.
And also you might end up doing,
Aspects of it.
yeah.
Or maybe this was the crewel work that I loved so much. It's beautiful. I think this is the one I was eyeing up the other night.
See, I think the central flower is worth doing on its own.
Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, there's gold work and all sorts in this.
And beads.
Beads.
I don't think it's crewel work. I think it's
No,
all
I think it's
sorts
all
yeah.
sorts of pieces. I obviously don't know what things are, so please just...
I think one of them was crewel work, but I think this one has more.
And that's the cicada. Oh, and then where this is just... Oh, so here's a better picture of the cicada. I think the rest of the books is just instructions. Yeah.
Very lovely.
Which I won't show because I might
It would
get
be
in trouble.
great if you do move on from the gold work, because you finished your gold work
I
project.
finished my gold work piece, yeah. So it'll be nice to be doing those
to not
techniques
forget.
and other things.
Yeah.
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 So though that and the stand and a light were my big expenditures.
Well, just won't eat this week.
And my scissors. I've got enough bread and cans of spaghetti and corn to do
And I've
toasted
put you onto-
sandwiches.
I've put you onto noodles.
The
for
noodles.
lunch.
Yep, noodles for lunch. We're doing well.
Yeah. I need to do noodles for lunch for a month with our holiday that's pending. The other book that I bought is called Embroidering Her Truth, and this is by Claire Hunter. And I think, have I read Threads of Life, or have I just coveted it? I can't remember. I read stuff and then I forget.
I've heard that these two, they're good.
Yes,
So I reckon you probably have read them.
Threads of Life.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because doesn't it have like the miniature doll's house stuff on the cover of it?
I can't remember. I can look it up in a minute. Anyway, I've heard good things. So people I follow, most of the people I follow are either disabled activists, so disability activists, sustainability activists, or makers. I follow a lot of artisan makers from Mexico and Guatemala. Well, just one from Guatemala, some from Peru. But this pops up every so often. And I have made a decision that I know this is not about embroidery. The embroidery aspect is only a tiny little bit, but apparently she did embroider. And so yeah, I'm just interested in, it'll just be adjacent, it'll just be a line here and there, I think. But I'm looking forward to this. And because I've been reading Wolf Hall on audiobook from the great Dunedin Public Library, I'm kind of in the mood. And of course, I didn't go to school. Oh, what was that?
That was me. That was just my frame falling on the floor.
Okay. I didn't go to school in England. I just did university there. So I haven't done English history. I've just learned through films and through various books and period novels. But it's not quite the same. And then Christina, my youngest, she's really fascinated by this period in history. So she read a lot, mostly Philippa Gregory, who apparently is historically correct. So yeah, I'm just really interested. I think it's just a fascinating period in history, especially considering that, you know, women in those days, and supposedly with the little power that they had and how they navigated lives, the politics and that sort of thing. But I'm hoping there will be a snippet of embroidery as well. So very happy about that. And I justified it in my head. I was like, oh, Christina might read it. So it's like buying half a book. Okay. So shall I move on to my
you do your others.
Okay, so the thing that I did in between was, remember those little buttons that didn't work out? Oh, my coat's there. Never mind. I didn't want to waste these little pieces that I'd embroidered, so I had this thing, little person, and the fox, and the key, and this little flower thing, and this little bird, and a little apple, and an anchor, and a heart, and a bird. So I didn't want to lose them. I didn't want to just destroy them because they hadn't worked out as button covers. So I made a little doll's quilt. Beautiful. And I'm going to, I found this fabric in my stash, so I'm going to use the red with a tiny bit of white to go on the borders. Lovely. I think that will really work. It will highlight the red of the embroidery. So that will be the next thing that I do. And I will hand stitched it. I just really like this fabric that I bought secondhand from Stitch Kitchen. So I thought, well, what can I do? And I've got this idea that I just can't keep making enormous quilts for this little house. So I'm probably just going to do a stack of doll quilts until I'm over that. Yeah. So happy with that. And I've been working on my half square triangle quilt. Oh, I've no idea. Oh no, here it is. I'll show you this one because it's on top. So the half square triangle quilt, I'm trying to keep this little house tidy, especially until my studio's ready. So because my bedroom was tidy, and because we've moved from a king, well actually it was a super king bed. We'd never bought a super king bed, but we figured out later that they had delivered a super king mattress. Oh. We only bought a king mattress. They delivered a super king, which meant that it was kind of over the sides of our divan bed. Never mind. So these massive quilts that I make work really well, but when we built this house, we decided to move to a queen size bed because that's all you need really. So my quilts have to be a bit smaller, otherwise they drag on the floor, and then I worry that they're going to be destroyed. So I actually laid down each square to measure, and I knew exactly, because that's better than doing maths. I knew exactly how many of these half square triangles I needed, and I was short by 100 of the background sort of, not the background, so with each fabric I have a very colourful one, and then one that comes from men's shirting, aka a shirt that belonged to a man. So I was short of 100 of the men's shirts, so I cut up that, and that's what I did over 2 days because it was tiring work. I love this one. Isn't that cute? It's actually blue. It's not coming through very well. And then I was short of 76 of the really colourful ones. And there is that fabric that Margarita sent us.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful Japanese. I bought second hand from Stitch Kitchen. The quality is really good. This last time that I went. Now, isn't this gorgeous?
Oh, that is gorgeous. Is that the bag?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It is the bag. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm so lucky. I buy all these second-hand fabrics, but I don't feel like I'm compromising on beauty or
Not at all.
anything really. So anyway, I cut 76 of these, so I now have enough, and I can put all my other fabrics away under my bed, and then they'll live in a project bag, and I'll be able to move them around and take them places, and hopefully, as Victoria well knows, probably be done by the end of the year.
Yep. Even with you preparing to go on holiday, it'll be done and dusted.
I
have no
prepare
doubt.
the night before to go on holiday. There's nothing else. I always think when you go on holiday, if you've got your passport, your credit card, it's all good. So I did that, and then I did the same thing for my flying geese quilt. And I'll show you, because I've actually made quite a bit of progress on the flying geese. So I did have enough cut up for this one. I just needed to join it, but I've now been joining the strips.
How fabulous does that look?
So that's one short one. I'm making them in different lengths, so I need, the longest I need is 19
Geese?
long. Yeah, but they're not just, it's not just going to be a linear quilt, so I'm mixing it up. So I've even ironed this piece, and I'm enjoying the mixture. See, I enjoy how the colors are mixed up, and sometimes the colors are different as well. Like this will be one color, and this will be another color. So I'm joining them by the triangle color at the moment. So we'll see what happens after.
There are these one that's got changes.
Like that, which I like, and you'll see that I'm also like the direction changes. So this is horizontal and this is vertical. This is horizontal, this is vertical. So, you know, just having fun with the different fabrics. So I'm going really fast with this. We now have a half-an-hour commute to Dunedin, which is fantastic. It used to be that Marty and I would chat in the car and I would craft, but now we just seem to listen to music. But I still craft, so that's really good. So see, isn't that pretty? The colour's not coming true. No, it's not. Oh, that's more like it. So I'm very happy with this. It's very pretty. And I don't think Sophia will like this quilt because it's not standard enough. She would want, if it was going to be oranges, it would be like they're all oranges. None of this mixing up the colours and that sort of thing. That's more my style, and possibly Christina's style, but not necessarily. So yeah, when I feel a bit overwhelmed by life, I pick one of these projects up. See, I love that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
They look like mountains and rivers and snows.
Yeah. So yeah, so this is as far as I got with joining, but I now have a stack that I've put the pins, like I've attached them with the pins, and I can just take them in the car and work on them. I actually don't know where they are, but never mind. Oh no, this is my bag. This is the car bag. This is the rest of them joined up for stitching together. Not the rest of them, but the rest of them I've got ready.
Yeah, the ones you've prepped.
Yeah. So all that means, oops, can I do this? Was it a wise idea, Victoria?
No, I'd just leave it on. You don't need to take it any further out. Yeah, there we are.
So you can see that I've started. I don't know if you can see it.
There's pins
I've got
in
my
there.
needle there. and I've got a little chain of them, and I just work on this in the car. And in the bag I have my pin cushion and my my white thread. This is probably the thread I use the most. I have found that you can buy organic sewing cotton in New Zealand, so I'm going to buy that next. It's actually, you know, it's often the case. I find it, even in food shopping, I find it quite shocking that you think it's going to be more expensive, and it turns out to be cheaper.
Oh,
So
I've
this
not
is-
come across that before.
Yeah, I have come across that with organic quite often. In unexpected ways. I'm not saying across the board, but
Yeah.
unexpected would be like, for example, tomato passata is cheaper to buy organic than it is to buy non-organic. It's like,
Okay.
how is that possible? But anyway, this is Gutermann, so a really good brand. $28.
Yeah.
And I think the organic one, more thread, less than 20.
Wow.
So I am going to order a couple of them because it's worth it for the quilting that I do. And I do want to, because this is hobbies. For me, these are hobbies. So I want to try and buy organic cotton, because cotton production is full of pesticides if it's not organic. So it's like the hot chocolate. We try and buy organic hot chocolate because it's a treat. If we can afford a treat, we can afford organic. That's my way of thinking. What else? And on it continues. Sorry.
I'm good.
Are you comfy?
I'm very comfy.
Oh, this was funny because I was whinging about this the other day on the channel about, I don't know where the wool is. I don't know where the yarn is. I can't continue. The yarn was in a bag here all along. So anyway, I've made some
great.
progress on these socks. As you can see, one's longer than the other. But I'm trying not to finish them just because I'm trying to use them as a car project as well, because
Yeah.
it's straightforward.
It's too easy to do it. Just stitch it at home and finish it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't need more socks. This is complicated. I don't need more socks. What does everybody else do? You've got all the socks you need. What are you going to do? I made a pair of fingerless mittens for my sister, and that was going to be the end of my knit giving. And that was with possum yarn as well, so very New Zealand. But yeah, even with gift giving, anyway. But the thing that I'm super pleased with, I finally got to the point where I had rested enough.
Ooh, we haven't seen this in a while.
Yes, because I couldn't. I was just.
Yeah, I know,
that's what I
it's
mean.
intense.
When you're very taxed at work and your brain comes home tired, I just couldn't face this. But I've understood it now. Now I'm a bit worried it's not going to fit me.
Oh, will fit you. It's beautiful.
I think it will stretch.
Yeah.
But I'll show you the panels. So this is the back, which I think is gorgeous.
Oh, it's so cool.
I'll stretch it a little bit so maybe you can see it a bit better. So I'm designing it myself, and I'm using this for the stitches. And this is called Cables and Arons by Erica Knight, or edited by Erica Knight. And that stitch is called Turning Diagonals. It's very beautiful. So that's on the back of the project. And then I've got two types of stitches on the sides. I've got this one here.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Yeah, so the cables like join and separate again. And this is called Crisscross Cable with Twists. And then in the middle, I have this one here, which is just going to keep doing that same thing. And this one's called Lattice Cable. So I am enjoying it. I'm thinking it's a jumper. It's not going to be a cardigan. It's a jumper. Do I need pockets in a jumper?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I reckon it would ruin the shape.
Well, you can do inseam. You wouldn't. I don't think it would ruin the shape. I'm just trying to decide, because I sort of joke about pockets being a feminist issue, but it is true. There isn't an item of clothing for men that comes without pockets, but with women it always seems to be optional.
Men's jumpers, I don't think come with pockets. I would have said for a jumper you wouldn't have a pocket, but that's
Okay.
me.
So anyway, I was getting to the point where I would make decisions about pockets. Anyway, I love the colour. Of course, I don't know if I've got enough yarn because I'm disorganized. But I figured if I don't have enough yarn, I'll just make it with little capped sleeves.
super cute.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't mind changing things. It's okay. So anyway, I've been delighted that I found where I was on the pattern. I've got my head around it. I'm now working on this every night. Actually on my days off every morning as well. So that's really good fun. And the last thing
And you've got a bit of wool that's come out there.
the last thing that I did is I finished spinning my, what is it? Under. Over. Is that right? I finished spinning on my spindle this yarn. Remember those little packets of yarn that I bought during lockdown? We weren't filming, but I've talked about it. So I finished finally. I was very inspired by 2 podcasts. So one is Pyramid Dyeworks. I don't think she spins with a spindle, but she's been doing a lot of spinning. And there's something magical about watching people do things. It really gets you going. So she produces the most beautiful yarns. She's very talented. Anyway, I'm not enjoying my spinning wheel at the moment, and I don't know what that's about. Anyway, I just can't be bothered with it at the moment. So I've decided that all, I don't know, decisions that I make, that I want to do them on my spindles.
Nice.
But also because I'm Peruvian, I identify more with a spindle. I kind of feel like it's more culturally appropriate. Although I'm not from the Andes. I don't know, I embrace the indigenous traditions of Peru more than a spinning wheel. A spinning wheel just seems so European to me, and it's just, nah. So anyway, no doubt, in a fortnight, I'll be like, I love my wheel. It's just there. I do love it. It's very beautiful. It's a rapard. Anyway, I did it, and my turtle is not as pretty as some people's. I'm very excited about it. Did I tell you that I'm doing a weaving workshop?
No.
I'm doing a weaving workshop on Zoom tomorrow. I don't know if this is going to work out, but they do record the Zooms. It's on how to make a Peruvian, what do you call that toy or weapon? Where you would, it's like a string and you would put a rock in it and do this.
Oh, slingshot.
A slingshot. So it's a Peruvian, like, pre-Inca or Inca slingshot woven. So I was thinking maybe I could use this, because this is the sort of yarn that you would use for carpet weaving. It's not next to Skin Soft. It's not for that. So anyway, I'm very excited about this. It's kind of led me down the Etsy route of looking at all the things that I want to buy. I want to get into cotton spinning. I know, I just felt so good, and honestly, I have no concept of how one is to rest. I don't know if I'm tired because I'm perimenopausal or because I'm an idiot, really, quite frankly. Because Martin would be like, oh, I'll go and have a nap, and I'll go like, I'm just going to finish this. Well, literally 3 hours later, he comes out of the bedroom having had his nap, and I'm like, I think just half an hour and I'll be done. So maybe I'm just an idiot, I don't know. Anyway, this is great fun. If you've been wanting to do it, go for it. Oh, anyway, the other podcast. So it's Pyramid Dyeworks, and also knitting, Crafting with Compassion, who I've been binge watching just because it's a nice voice in the background, and she does lots of spindle spinning and wheel spinning, and she knits as well. But she also teaches spinning, which I don't feel like I need, but really good to see and also be very encouraged by someone doing that. And she does tutorials in her podcast. So if you're a budding spinner, it might be worth you catching up with what she shows.
Did you want to show anything in there?
Oh yes, let's.
Oh Jesus, that's heavier than anticipated.
Yeah, it's got all my bits and bobs. So I've been doing my art classes, and
So
I've mostly
Sorry, this is the homework you've been
effing and blinding about. Yeah. So I signed up for this art class, and I'm very excited to be doing an art class, but I did not sign up for homework. So I am learning lots of things, and I'm quite surprised at what I'm learning, because I've been very art adjacent all my life, and I hadn't heard of swatches in the art context. So anyway, I'll show you. I mean, these are just straightforward things. But a fortnight ago, because we didn't have a class because of the bank holiday weekend. But anyway, in class we did, which is the one? we did this color wheel, and then I did this color wheel at home. To be quite frank, I don't understand, because these were with warm colors and these are with cool colors, but I think this is pretty warm. I don't know. And we did swatches and cangiante, which is a technique which I had forgotten about because that was part of the homework and I couldn't remember, but never mind. But this is what I was doing today and whinging to anybody that would listen. So I had to do swatches.
So is this all about like mixing in your paint water ratio and?
It's not to do with water, but it's so this. I've done this blue swatch with cobalt blue and cadmium red.
Yeah.
So you put the blue at the top, and then the cadmium red. So you've got it on your little plate, and then you put one drop of this into the blue, and that's this first box. And then another drop makes that one, and another drop makes that one, and another drop makes that one, and so on. And
That's
the idea
cool.
is that you have them around in your studio, and if one day you want to draw a particular flower, you can go to this and go, oh gosh, this is exactly the color I need. So now you know that what you need to do is mix cobalt blue with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of
Whatever the other colour is. Crimson.
alizarin crimson.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that was
They
kind
look
of clever.
really pretty too.
Yeah, so
You're
this will go
attractively-
to my studio, but I'm more of a gestural maker. I what a surprise. Catherine doesn't want to follow rules.
I was gonna say this is quite regimented and prepared and.
Yes, and I did say that in class. And he says, but that's how you do it. Whilst for me, colour is always about intuition. But I suppose I will now know how to use my intuition when I want to choose a colour. Look how beautiful. So with these
That
two
is-
colours, you get this whole range of colours. Some of them are just yuck. Like, what a way to ruin ultramarine blue with cadmium red.
Oh,
It's really amazing how it changes. And
yeah. I'm really impressed that that's just one drop. That's how much it's.
all right, Victoria, I was not precise, okay? Because if you do one drop, you have to rinse your thing every time.
Oh.
So it's like, and in the intention being one drop.
Yeah. But you know, it's just a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
with just a little
It's
bit.
one of whatever, and then the second time you do it, it's 2 of the whatever. So anyway, I'm really pleased that I'm doing it. I seriously whinge about this. I'm quite angry. Thank goodness my friend Sally and I have a coffee beforehand.
So do you have class tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah, so we meet with my friend for coffee, which is really lovely, and we get to catch up, and then I go to class, and then I whinge because I'm tired in class, and I come home, and hopefully Martin will have cooked. Martin will not have cooked because he's doing a dolphin weekend all weekend, a dolphin thing on all day tomorrow with Christina on the peninsula. There will be no food when I get home. I might have to bring a takeaway. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I am having a good time. But it is not in my nature to embrace rigidity.
Yeah, you're not getting straight into producing a picture, are you?
No.
Which is...
No. And I think, I mean, I am the age that I am. I'm not going to become a painter. And I don't think I'm interested in doing things correctly. I'm just interested in having those things in my life. So I think what will happen, I've started planting my veggie plot, and I've planted a couple of magnolias that look dead, quite frankly. And I think what I want to do is when I have a blossom or a leaf that's pretty, I just want to draw it and paint it. That's all I want. It doesn't have to be like a massive thing where I'm amazing. So I'll get over myself. I'll finish the course. And I just, please save me from myself. I don't want to do another course. Because also, I don't want to leave my house at the weekend. Like having to go into the center of town, which I avoid like the plague, on a Sunday just feels like the worst waste of my life.
And knowing you have to do it, like it's fine if it's just a one-off, but knowing you have to do it for 10 weeks in a row.
Exactly. 10 weeks is a lot for me. I have no commitment to anything apart from my girls and my husband. So, yeah, 10 weeks is just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. So, I think that's everything that I've worked on. What's coming up? Oh!
Yeah, I think there's
I
that.
got this.
Yeah.
Is this the only thing we...
Yeah, because I forgot the other part. I forgot some of it at my house.
Oh, okay. So we got a gift, pardon me. We got a gift in the post, which is super lovely. So we've talked about this person in the past. I actually haven't checked, but I'm sure they don't mind. Margarita lives in Europe. She's originally from Portugal and obviously understands my taste, but she sent a lovely parcel, including this sort of folk art, naive art from Portugal, which is right on my street. See, I don't want things to look correct. I just want them to look fun. See? See, my art class, we're learning about Michelangelo and the rules that he came up with and stuff. It's like, I like folk art. I like naive art. I like when you look at Indian embroidery, they paint people and they're kind of like sort of stick people, and they always have the face sideways and you can see the nose and stuff. It's not accurate. Nobody's interested in accurate, goodness. Like this. Like, is this exactly anatomically correct? No, but isn't it fun? So this is the sort of thing I'm interested in. So this is from the Museum Calouste de Gulbenkian in Portugal, I believe. And it's about popular art. Popular art from the Minho. Is the Minho an area or a museum? Oh, look at, isn't this beautiful? Right, okay, this is right on my street. These two women, it kind of looks Indian to me. And you could embroider it, it would be so beautiful. Anyway, so this, I was delighted with this. Great, thank you, Margarita. And then we got, help me out, Victoria.
The two that I've left at my house.
Yes.
Two beautiful needle nannies, which I was meaning to bring out here.
It's funny that you
but I
call them
didn't.
needle nannies.
Or needle minders, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call them.
Oh, so I sent, this is so bad. I'm just like the worst human. I sent Margarita a gift and literally I threw it in a bag with a note and some random bit of paper from work. And she like, who has envelopes on hand? Do people have envelopes?
I only
Is
have
this a
envelopes
thing?
because I have a packet of like 10 Christmas cards that Mum must have given me donkeys years ago, and they're shoved in a drawer somewhere.
And look, a proper card. Like, this is proper
Pretty,
grown-upness,
yeah.
right? I mean, I have moved house, so I do have a box of cards somewhere. Anyway, I was a bit embarrassed because other people do Instagrammable stuff so much better than me. Anyway, I also laughed at myself because... Anyway, so it was very lovely to receive. How lovely to receive a packet in the post
It's
with a
lovely.
letter or card. So lovely. She also sent this gorgeous pack of buttons.
Oh, they're a lovely colour.
They are. Oh, I'm thinking, I'll have to think of something knitted that will need buttons like that. Aren't they beautiful? What a great colour. Oh, Brussels fashion. Margarita's very lucky because she lives near flea markets and stuff, and so that's pretty cool. Oh, and we've bonded over bobbin lace as well. She has some bobbin lace accoutrement from her mother, I believe, or her aunt, or maybe her grandma, I'm not sure. I found my bobbin lace stuff. It's on top of a wardrobe. I haven't brought it. It needs a massive dust. But very beautiful. I don't know what I like more, lace or the lace bobbins. They're just so beautiful.
The kit is gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah. And then I got this lovely gift, which Margarita's a far more generous person than I ever would be. Isn't this cute? It's a little
adorable.
etui from the... Ooh. I want to say the Meow people. That is not the Meow people because they call them Meow in China. I want to... Hmong, the Hmong people. So Hmong, H-M-O-N-G, Hmong people. They're an ethnic group that lives across a number of countries. So Vietnam, Thailand, and there is a branch in China as well. So we're both huge fans of their textiles, and I have shown you in the past Hmong textiles that I've bought online. And she very generously gave me an etui that she bought when she was in Vietnam or Thailand. Isn't that gorgeous?
Turn it around so they can see the inside.
Oh, okay. Isn't that the
Just
cutest
so
thing?
cute.
Little buttons for an emergency and some threads and a little scissor. I haven't decided where it's going to live because I wanted to show you both. So
It's so beautiful. You must want to pin it to a wall.
it is very beautiful. But I also think you have to honor these things by using them.
True.
Yeah.
That's not to say if you had it pinned to a wall for display, you couldn't still use it.
Yeah, that's true. But let's face it, I wouldn't. I just thought maybe if I say this out loud, it will happen. Martin and I thought, because it's ridiculous, that we would go to India next year.
Oh.
We don't have the money. But if we don't go next year, when are we going to go?
Yeah, yeah. I feel that's oh, I'm so jealous. That would be amazing.
It would be on a textile tool. I would do a tool. Because, well, Martin's going to be 64. He won't mind me telling you. He'll be 64 in March. And that's when he retires. And after that, we're just going to manage on my wages. And also, he has a lot more stamina than I do. So he's okay to go to India. I probably won't want to go to India after I'm 55. I do get tired. So you have to say things out loud to make them happen. So I said to him, oh, let's just go to India.
You should start doing some research, see how much it is going to cost.
Well, I know how much it's going to cost because we want to go on I want to go on a textile tour because if I go to India, I'm likely to only go once. My list of countries that I want to visit is long.
Yeah.
And there are very few specific Indian things that I would like to see. And it's so funny because most people go, oh, the Taj Mahal. I was like, nah, not bothered.
But I imagine Martin might like to see it.
No, he's not bothered.
He's not bothered?
No, he's, oh, this sounds awful, but there is a place that he really wants to go because he was in the army, so he knows quite a bit about India just through being in the army. I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, that's how he explained it to me. And so what we're hoping is that we'll be able to go to that place and it might be a center of some sort of textile.
Lovely.
So I'm excited about that. So I've said it now.
You've put it out into the universe?
So the thing is, if we sell the house in Port, we're going to India. Because that's not sensible, so we'll do that.
Oh, yeah, and you should do it like as his retirement. Hurrah.
I'm not sure if I can pull that one off. But we're taking the girls to Peru this December, so I kind of feel like maybe I can go on holiday to India without them.
Yes, you could.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm very uncomfortable about that. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I've put it out there for the... Anyway, I do love going to these wonderful places that have beautiful artisans that do beautiful work. We laugh because Victoria is so temptable when she goes to Stitch Witches. And she started going to the Embroiderers Guild and she just can't help herself. And I'm not tempted in the least. I can totally walk away from those things. Now just put me in a market in a place like Mexico or Peru or Vietnam. I just can't resist. I just love the craftsmanship in those countries. So
Excellent.
yeah.
I think that's us.
Yeah, I just want to show what I'm going to work on next.
Yeah, plans.
Well, I'll just continue working on everything. There's a couple of things that I didn't get to, so I'm going to put that in my rotation. But I'm going to cast on a new shawl. And I was showing my family yesterday, and they were pretending to be interested, but they were also judging me. So what do you think of these colours?
I think they're beautiful.
See, I think they do go together.
I think it will depend where you put it.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those shawls that really drapes on the shoulders because of the construction. It means it won't fall off the shoulders.
But are you thinking the dark blue is going to be like a border?
And it's going to be these three colours at the top and a border at the bottom.
Oh, I wonder if the blue will drag it down a bit. It's beautiful. All your stuff always looks great, and you always have wonderful colour sense. So I'm just gonna.
You can't see very well, but if you could, you would see that this is not a flat colour. It's not just mustard. It's quite.
It's quite variegated.
Yeah, because I think the base wool that they use to make the yarn might be grey. So you get like two tones in this mustard. And that's the same thing with this. So it's not a flat blue. Oh, you can kind of see it.
You can see the blacky blue, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of blacky blue. So I think it'll work. Anyway, this is what I have.
Beautiful.
Work on. And yeah, just continue with my 3,000 projects that I have.
Excellent.
Oh, and also, after we last filmed, I managed to make contact with the woman in Peru that's going to teach me with the backstrap loom.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I do hope it works out in the end.
Do you have to take anything with you?
No, they'll
Supply
be
everything?
able to sell me a loom. It's just
Excellent.
sticks.
Yeah.
They said they had that. I hope it works out. I'm gonna be jet lagged.
I reckon you'd amp yourself up for it.
I don't know. There'll be like maybe coffee drinking.
Yeah.
I don't think there's such a if you go to a place like Cajamarca, I don't think they have such a thing as decaf coffee. So I'll just coffee myself up. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm becoming like a course person.
Courses are so much fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying mine. So,
Yeah.
my
People are very
plans-
excited about your courses, by the way. So you need to talk about this whenever
Oh.
you sign up for something, or
Oh,
people are keen to know.
yeah. I'll take some photos of what I've signed up for next year. There's just 2 projects that I've signed up for. So I'm going to catch up with my twisted band sampler.
Yeah.
There'll be prep work to do for the next 4 bands, which but the next course isn't till March, so I've got a bit of time, but I'd like to just keep on top of it. I've also got that little house sewing
Yeah, I was
box.
going to say.
That putting together class will be early, the second quarter of next year, so I need to get that underway. But I'm really feeling Crafty Mojo at the moment, so that's great.
I think it's to do with summer, more light.
More like loving the lighter evenings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hope everyone's well, and you have a good next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we hopefully will get into a groove again, and
Yeah.
we will be here in 2 weeks. Hopefully I have the energy. I'll get tea cooking, and then I'll film in Spanish, and then we'll organize ourselves. for
Excellent.
then. Lovely to catch up. Thank you for your comments. I really appreciate the comments. I was telling Christina about it. I told Christina that I do this for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm no longer here, if they ever miss me, they can find me on YouTube,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Oh, Mum was into this. Oh, wasn't Mum weird?" And so she was really surprised about that. And then she said something about the comments, and she goes, "You answer them." I was like, "I love the
Very
comments.
diligently you answer
They're
them.
the best bit.
Ah.
I love the comments." So I was like, "Yeah, that's part of the whole point for me." And she was very surprised.
Oh.
So anyway, thank you for your comments. I really appreciate them. I do
Excellent.
enjoy that, although it's a bit harder to get to them at the moment, but I do enjoy them. So anyway, enjoy your crafting, and we'll
Yeah.
see you in a fortnight.
Kaki day!